Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another video on Project Amiga. I'll switch the camera around. I've been doing a few jobs on my driveway at home, just where it's been a nice bit of weather, because unfortunately I think the forecast for the next few days, it's lovely outside, is going to be pretty poor. What I have just been doing, I've just had a bit of interior. There was one little mark on the seat here. Just used some basic carpet cleaner. It's brought that up like brand new, and that was a mark here where somebody had been putting their elbow on here. I thought these marks wouldn't have been able to come off. Suede shoe cleaner and some basic carpet cleaner. It's brought it up like brand new. Anyway, one other thing, I've been on doing the sunroof. I don't need to show a video of doing it. Just opening it up, tilt and slide, greasing up all the points. Just use some normal spray grease, the type of exactly the same stuff that you've seen us using, spraying underneath the vehicles with. Get it into the rails, the channels, done that just so it's ready for the winter to be stood. One fault this car's got when I find the key, I think I've put it in. As I've mentioned, I want to fit cruise control to this. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I'm not bothered. As you can see, it's got quite like a fat indicator stalk. It's wiper stalk. I have to open the door, excuse me. See how it's got quite a large stalk for the wiper? And the indicator is just this little narrow one. Well, what I want to do is fit it with cruise control, which means you've got a stalk with the buttons on. I've ordered one. Can't believe it. I've gotten it for like £14 something for a genuine Marley one, which is near enough as good as original equipment. But this car's got a weird fault on it. I don't know if it'll replicate without the engine running, but when I was driving back, when you've got the headlights on, actually it's doing it now, it's got main beam on, which I've got to take off. If I indicate left, as you can see normally, and off, it's fine. But when I indicate right, see how it's activating the main beam? But most times, there, see? So every time you indicate right, when the headlights are on only, what it does is, it activates there, main beam. And as you can see, the stalk isn't back, see? If you look, I'm only just tiny bit touching it, it's flashing the main beam. See there? You might be able to hear that clicking. So there's obviously a fault within that stalk. So anyways, I've turned these off. So I'm going to try and kill two birds with one stone here. There's obviously a fault with this stalk. Incredibly annoying at night. Every time you indicate right, it's as if you're flashing somebody. So I'm going to remove this stalk and fit the brand new cruise control one. If there's a wire, what we're going to do is just strip this area here. If there's a wire tucked away down there, fantastic. Plug it in. It may or may not work. It may need programmed. Don't know. If it does, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. If there isn't a wire, it's still exactly the same fit. I'm just going to fit the cruise control stalk. Anyways, personally, it'll fit in better because there'll be two matching large, fatter stalks. Anyways, I think that looks a bit daft. So if not, it's just going to be an ornament, look better. If it works, then great, thumbs up. So what we're going to do is, we're going to take the cowling apart. Now, with us being at home, I'm not going to actually remove the stalk because I actually have to drive the car to work, so I need a functioning indicator stalk. But what I thought I would do while I'm at home, anybody who works in a garage will know what I mean. I'll use some nice clean tools, which I have for doing work at home, to save dismantling it at work. So what you need to do is, I may not be able to turn the wheel that far with the engine off. There's two little grommets there, you pull them off, and I think there are torques underneath. And we'll go underneath. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll spin the camera if it works. It might just go dark here. And there are 3 Phillips screws. I'm not sure if them ones are Phillips. They may be Torx as well. So 3 of those. And then the 2 on there, and that lifts the top piece off, and I think the bottom piece drops off. I must admit, I've never done this on an Amiga, but I've done it on Astras and Vectras, and they look very, very similar. So I'm just going to pause the video, and I'll get these bottom ones unscrewed. You just obviously need a longer screwdriver, maybe not that long, to get them off. I'm not going to bore you showing us getting 3 screws out. I'll come back to it when I see what's behind these panels to get the top piece off. I'll be back to you shortly. Well, welcome back. I'm surprised at a lot of things here. I've just discovered, because I thought I was going to take all this apart, I didn't even know that was, how easy access is that to get in It's got a special button and you get into your fuse panel. So forget all this, not even that. I cannot believe this is a 1996 car with a 16-pin diagnostic plug. I had a 2001 Mazda 626 in, and it didn't even have this plug, and there's a lot of Kias and Hyundais and stuff right up to a lot newer than 2001. 96. Mind, don't get us wrong, I don't know if that may only control for the airbag and the ABS. I don't know if you'll be able, that might be a plug under the bonnet for the engine ECU. I don't know. I'm very pleasantly surprised to see this. So anyways, it was just 3 Phillips screws here, which are in that ashtray down there. And like I've mentioned, you pop the cover off, the little black cover, and there's another Phillips screw. I'm going to do the same at the other side. And we'll take the cowling apart. So I'm surprised, I'm pleased this has dropped, because if it hadn't, it was going to be awkward. So I've got a feeling this is going to be super simple. So I'll come back to you and we'll see if we've got the hidden plug to fit cruise control. I figured I may as well show this part. More than likely, I can't do this with 2 hands. This bit will probably end up falling on the floor. You just want a very fine screwdriver, so you don't mark nothing. Just get it underneath to just prise it up. Of course, I'm trying to do this with 1 hand. That I'm not even showing you on the video there. Just to get it, it's easier said than done trying to do this in an angle. I'm probably not going to be able to manage, because you really need 2 hands to. And I don't want to mark the plastic. I'll be back with you in a second. There you go. That's all it is. 1 Phillips screw. Obviously, try to keep an eye on these little bits. Just keep them in an area where they're not going to roll behind covers, and simply just remove the Phillips screw. This is where it will come in handy if I had things like tripods and whatnot. Take it out as I drop the screwdriver on the floor. There's the final one out. As you can see, it's dropped down. I'm just going to move the steering wheel back to the normal position. You have to excuse me, because with the engine not running, it takes a bit of pulling. I have to apologise. I don't think my finger caught the button to start the video back playing. I think I was up to this point anyways. Excuse me if it isn't. So by now we've got the 2 screws out behind the steering wheel. This top piece, like I was saying, which I don't think I include, just be careful with these rubber boots. It doesn't matter so much on the one you're replacing, but more so on the one that you're not replacing. Then this top cover just lifts off. No damage done, fantastic, no pulling on with silly clips that break. And then the bottom piece now will be nice and loose. The only thing that's holding that in is the rubber around the ignition barrel, which is this piece here. And once we've got this off, we'll have a look and see if we can find that plug which will enable cruise control to be able to work. So there we go. You've just got to remove the rubber from around the ignition barrel, but be very careful, because that's where your pickup is for your transponder, and this should just come off. Old technology, yeah? Nothing broken, nothing damaged. And now we've got access to, this is your immobiliser section here, so be very careful with this. Don't go pulling on. What we're looking for, excuse me, is a hidden little plug. Now, I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to show you this. Let's have a look, see if we can find it. I'll open this up, and there it is there. Right, let's have a look. I'll put the light on. I'm just not sure how well this will show. Can you see it just back there? Just there, centre of camera. I believe that should be it. If that's a 4-pin plug, that will be the cruise control stalk. Let's just have a look. I'll pause the video and I'll come back to you. So there we go. As you can see, that's the indicator stalk. That's a wiring that comes down to it. And this has just simply been taped. So all you've got to do is just cut the bit of tape here. Be careful that you don't damage the wires. And that plugs into the cruise control stalk, the indicator with the buttons on. I'm going to end this video here because, as I've mentioned, I can't remove this. So I'll come back and do another video. I'll link it all into one video on when I upload it, of how to remove this. What it is, there's a few awkward little clips for the wiring here. What you do is you lift this tab. There's one underneath in the whole this unit just should, because you push these down as well, which I'm not going to touch because I need to be able to drive the car. And this just pulls out and do that. So when you cut these wires off this, just be careful, remember, and fingers crossed it will work. But like I've mentioned, even if since this plug is here, and we'll plug it all in, there's a 50-50 chance that it won't work anyway, because what you need to then do is plug in some kind of Tech 2 system, which I've done on the newer Astras, where you've actually got to program it in, but I'm hoping that's not going to be the situation, because I'm not sure how easy cars this old are to program in. I've done loads of these in the past. I'll actually show you now. This Astra right here. This used to be mine, to my partner's. And if you look on that one, this is a nearly 30-year-old Vauxhall. This is 2008. And can you just see the indicator stalk on that one with the buttons on the end? Simple case on these ones, you don't even have to take the cowling apart. You just simply pull the stalk out and push the new one in, and you program them in using Tech 2. But with these older ones, I'm not sure if programming is needed. I just think it was just a case of, if you selected cruise control, they fitted your stalk with the buttons on. If you didn't want cruise control, you got the normal stalk like this, and the wire was just simply tied away down there. I honestly don't know. I'll have to just find out. So I'll cut that video here, and I'll come back to you. Well, it'll be all in the same video, so thanks for watching. Hello and welcome back to Project Amiga. What I'm doing today is going to try and fit the cruise control. I'm losing daylight a bit. I've just finished a 12-hour shift at work, so I may have to just cut this to another day. So we'll swing the camera around and see what... As we know, I've got all the steering column apart, which is on there, and the new stalks come. This cost me less than £16. Put a Marley one, original equipment, good stuff. And here is the stalk. I haven't even checked it yet. I've just unboxed it. And there we go. This is going to be the difference. Like I've mentioned, this has got a fault with the indicator anyways. So even if this doesn't work, hey-ho, it's going to be a better one than that. And like I've said, it's just exactly the same, just with the buttons on the end, and it'll match with the wiper stalk a bit better. And that's the plug on this one. As you can see, there's the plug, and on this one is tucked away down here somewhere, down there. Fingers crossed they match. We're soon going to find out. We'll pull that down. So what I'll do is, I'll have a quick look around and I'll come back to you. Rather than fiddling on with stuff, it's been years since I've dealt with one of these. Once I've worked out how it comes off and whatnot, I'll give you an update. Right, I'll try and film this as best as I can. So naturally what we need to do here is pull the unit out, and then we can get access to the wiring at the back. It'll be easier to deal with that when the unit's out. There's two little tabs. Well, there. And one just underneath. And you just squeeze them both in at the same time. And here, presto, it comes out. Then all we need to deal with now is getting this wiring off. I think this just slides out. So what I'll do is I'll work it out and I'll come back to you, but I'll show you exactly how it works. And I've also just tried the cruise control plug into here, because I noticed this had 4 pins. That's only got 2 pins. Who knows? That might just be the way they are, but the extra 2 pins aren't going to do no harm, because the plug is exactly the same shape, and that's quite often on cars where this is an issue. I have got access to Tech 2, so if this doesn't work, I'll give it one try of going on and trying to program it. Who knows? But like I've already mentioned, this stalk has got a problem where it's setting main beam off every time I indicate right when I've got the headlights on, so it needs replaced anyway. So I'll work out how to get the wiring off and I'll come back to you. So as suspected, it's just a case of putting a very thin screwdriver into the back edge of that, and that just slides off as so, like that, and then you can pull the unit out. I should have had like a tripod or something here, but it's quite difficult when you're sat in the driver's seat and there's not really a level surface anywhere in here. So to disconnect the wiring, you take out that plastic, like a retainer clip, and there's 2 little tabs there and one at the back. I'll spin it round. There. You can manage this with your fingers. It's a bit fiddly. As you can imagine, you definitely can't do it with 2 hands. Using one hand on a camera. I'll see if I can balance the phone up here. I don't know what that... I think you can just see what I'm doing there. Sorry, it's a really poor angle, but it's the best I can do. Then this whole unit should, in one go, just pull out. This tab's actually just come over a little bit. And the whole multi-plug should just come out in one go. This one's still getting a hold. There we go. There. So now, as you can see, that's totally disconnected. There's the unit on the back. There's the plug. Then it's just a repeat performance with the other one. Obviously, to plug the extra little plug in for the cruise control. So I'll show you that when I get to it. So we'll line them both side to side. I always like to do this beforehand. Everything lines up, everything matches up, which was my main worry. So they're fine, so we know the plug's going to go on. Like I say, the only difference is with this one, it's plugging the cruise control in. So it's just a case of the same as what I've just done. Plug it in, pop it into the steering column, plug in for the cruise control, then start putting things back together. So there you go, that's it all connected up. Multi-plug on, fits perfectly. Cruise control wire plugged into the harness. The only thing you need to do finally is put this retaining clip on, which I'll do now. That's the grey retainer clip. Just make sure that goes into place. And then it's just a case of plugging it into the steering column, which I'll come back to. I just need to get it lined up. Apologies for keep cutting in and out. I've already mentioned I'm no professional camera person. So we'll just get this laid into place. Just make sure you get it into the lines. It's just a case of pushing it into the clips. Just obviously you've got to put a bit more force onto it in this area here. And that's it. Click. Job done. Headlights working. Do a quick check. I think I've got the keys in. Indicator right. Indicator left. And do the check. Put the headlights on. Indicate right. And no main beam keep flashing, which was my main issue. So I fixed one problem anyways, and hopefully gained cruise control out of it. Turn them off. So I'm just going to make sure everything's in place here. Get the steering surround back on, but I'm starting to lose light. Difficult for recording and obviously difficult for just generally seeing what I'm doing. As you can see, we're starting to lose light here. So that's the cowling on. Sometimes the hardest bit is trying to get the rubber to look nice around the rubber gator onto there. So as you can see, you've just got to turn the wheel. There's 2 Phillips screws here at either side, and there's a little grommet that goes into them. And then there's 3 underneath at the bottom, what you put on. As you can see, that's a little blanking cap on there. I'm going to do the other side, put the ones in underneath. There's 1 silver screw and 2 black ones. The 2 black ones, I'll see if I can flip this round and show you. Obviously, I don't know how good you can see that, but there's 2 there. They're the 2 black ones. And then there's the silver one there. Make sure you put that one in first. That locks the whole unit together and puts it in place. Then do these 2. Otherwise, you will have a bit of an issue trying to line them up. Especially like I'm doing in the pitch black. Right, and there we go. I'm just going to finish off. Problem is tonight, I'm getting in, it's dark, I need to see the kids, and I've decided to let myself a little bottle of beer whilst doing this. Yes, the car's on me drive, private land, and I'm certainly not driving anyways. I know you can drive with 1 bottle, but I would never advise that. So I'm just going to have to sleep on this one the night and hope tomorrow when I go to pick my son up, the cruise control works. Right, a few things I want to go through on this. Obviously, everything's back together. Not that you can really see much. I don't know why it's coming across so dark. It's not that dark on my phone. Everything's done. As I've mentioned, everything works. Perfect. A few things. Number 1, this is a diesel and this is fly-by-wire. The pedal is just a potentiometer. There's no physical cable goes to the bonnet. So if you have one of the petrol ones with a cable to the throttle, totally different ball game. You need to fit electric motors, extra cables to the throttle body. So don't fit it to a petrol unless you know it's got an electronic throttle body. Number 2 is this one isn't automatic. So I'm lucky because obviously there's only 2 pedals. With manuals, you've sometimes got to check if there's a clutch switch. I think most diesels, even manual ones, have clutch switches as standard to keep the revs up when you're changing gear. Some petrols do, some petrols don't. I'm just referring to the Safiras and the Astras. The 1.8 and 2.2 petrols have all got the clutch switch and they're just simply plug and play, no bother. But I don't know why, don't ask, but the 1.4 and the 1.6, even though they're fly-by-wires, don't know why, but you can't. You've got to add clutch switches to them. Same with them Astras as well. The diesel ones, you just bang them in, job done, no problem. 1600 petrol ones, you can't. You've got to fit wiring, you've got to fit clutch switches. Yet the 1800 petrol, 2.2 petrol, you're fine. God knows why. So there's a few things I wanted to run through. So the other thing was, the final thing was fuses and relays. There's no relays on there for it. And there's a couple of fuses which refer to cruise control, but they already run other stuff like the media system and daft stuff like that. So that would be the only thing I would advise. I've never done an Amiga before. Amigas are a little bit before my time. I've dealt with the Astra Gs and Vectras and stuff like that. So I can't guarantee this is going to work. I do not know. So I'll come back with another video with this. If it works, thumbs up. If it doesn't, I'm going to use the Tech 2, and it has got a 16-pin plug like I showed at the beginning of this video. We'll plug it in, and we'll see if there's a setting, like we'll do on them ones, to simply activate the engine ECU and activate the body control module and all, if it's got one. I don't think these even have one. But from what I've heard and what I've done on all the Astras, fingers crossed, it's just plug and play. Who knows? We'll see. But either way, like I mentioned, the indicator stalk was malfunctioning anyways, didn't look right. So I'm killing two birds with one stone here. So I'll come back to you on another video. Right, it'll be all one video. Thanks for watching. Bye.